saline day. You see, well, Ketchikan here has about this island, and black bears are the only bears that we have on this island. But our population of black bears here is about 8,200 bears. So it's about 1 for 1. They don't come around town too often though. Unless you leave fish or crab in your trash can, their sense of smell is a lot better than mine. They can smell that from like 2 miles away. And then, for those of you that have your U.S. passport, the reason why the island's got a little bit bigger like that is because this island is a rock island. And so what that means is it's just a big piece of rock sitting in the ocean. And when loggers first came up here and started building a city or a town, they found it easier to build up over the ocean or build up off the coastline rather than blast through the solid rock to make flat areas for roads and houses. This building on the left here has this parking lot around it, and you can kind of see if you look around this parking lot, they know that the fish in the salt water taste better because they're not dying, so they'll just pass up the creek and go right to the ocean to catch their fish. And then if you look over here on the left side, you see our baseball fields. They're just gravel and sand. Makes me glad I don't play baseball. They decide not to put grass in those baseball fields because we get about 13 to 15 feet of rainfall every year. Nobody wanted to take care of that mess. Since we get so much rain up here, it ends up being just under about 300 days, just under 300 days worth of rainfall every year. I think we're in like the 280 range. So coming to Ketchikan when it's not raining is pretty special. Today though is a pretty average day for the summer, overcast. It will probably rain at some point today, probably at night. But since it rains so much, it's kind of hard to keep up the exterior of your house, as you probably noticed driving past some of these homes. A lot of them look like they need a new paint job, need a new roof. This brown and yellow building up here on the right side that we're passing by is this one right here. This one has a cool excuse me. This one has a cool history because it used to be one of the main churches in Ketchikan, and now it's the Ketchikan mortuary. Some people find humor in that. Other people will say you can marry them and bury them in the same spot. Steps, then the city will give it a street name and start maintaining it. So if you're ever to build a staircase, you gotta make sure it has at least 100 steps. And we have quite a few of those street name staircases. There's been a lot of stories about bears trying to get inside their store, or inside their trash cans, things like that. Most recent experience though is great, now I can't see. Thanks, bus. The most recent experience was a black bear cub got inside the front door and almost put his toes in the water, but then he just pushed me in. So, after he pushed me in, you can see it's getting some pretty big cracks in it, and it looks like some pieces have been replaced at one point. The bottom's getting pretty rotten, and so they decided to take it down. They're going to recarve it and eventually put it back up, but it's nice that when they took it down, they laid it down right here for us so we can see it. It's kind of cool to get the different perspective of a totem pole laying down versus standing up, so that's pretty neat. And the way that the natives here used to carve their totem poles is if you look inside of this building here, you can see some carving projects going on. And they used to take the cedar trees, bring them into where they wanted to carve it, and then they would strip the cedar trees of all of its bark, give the bark to the women so they could braid it into rope, and then they would start to carve these poles. And if you look on the back wall there, you can see some wooden handles on the back wall, and those are the tools that they use to carve these totem poles and to take off the totem pole. And they get their name because if you put your arm up like this, you have your handle and then the blade. So they're all kind of shaped like that. And they would carve the whole totem pole, and then after it was carved, they would smooth it out. And the way that they would smooth it out, since they never had on it, about 1.5 inches across is all. And they would strike just about every inch of that totem pole with it, smooth it out. So you get a nice smooth feel. It would be kind of bumpy, but it would never give you a sliver or anything like that. And then after it was all carved and smoothed out, be ready for some paint. And the paint that they used to use is salmon egg based. The women would get raw salmon eggs, chew that up in their mouth, and then strain that back out through their clenched teeth. And they would keep their teeth clenched to keep like the shell of the egg and other parts of the egg that they didn't want in their paint. It lasts only about as long as salmon egg paint would. But after it was all painted, be ready to be stood up. And the way that they would stand these totem poles, as you can see, there's kind of a drawing on the back wall there by the window. Kind of build this A-frame type of structure. Throw the rope, or the clans that he was in charge of. So we got the bear clan down here, wolf clan, shark clan, there's another bear up there on top. And then this guy right here is upside down with the yellow face. And he's upside down, has a yellow face because this clan owed him money and he never got it back. Moral of the story, don't lend people money. Unless it's me, right? I'll pay that. So if everybody wants to follow me down over to the park here, to some of these other totem poles, I'll tell you some few stories. They would carve totem poles. Really, they started carving totem poles kind of like a street sign or a street address. So if you look at this one down over here, you got the weasel on bottom with the know what clan was living here, and then they could decide if they wanted to stop and visit or not. And then they'd also carve their totem poles to tell stories. So this one right here behind you tells the story of Kotz and the bears. So Kotz is the man down there, and Kotz, K-O-T.
Okay.
And he was a pretty good fisherman, one of the best. And so his clan would always just let him catch the fish because he was so good at it. And one day this bear, the bear that's giving him a nice big hug on the pole, he finally decided that he could catch the fish, but he had to leave it next to the water, and he was not allowed to go back to his clan. So that's exactly what he did, true to his promise, caught tons of fish, started headed back. Well, what he didn't know is that his 3 cubs that followed him down to the ocean that day, they were kind of playing around, they were watching him catch fish. Well, then they noticed he was catching a lot, and they got really excited because they were going to go home and have a fancy feast with all this fish. And, well, the cubs, they didn't know about this agreement. A lot of the times after a totem pole story, you can say, moral to the story is. I'll let you get your own morals out of that story. I think you could probably come up with a few on your own. And then, after that pole, there's a couple other reasons why they carve totem poles is to honor people or to shame people. So we have this one right here. He does not look happy. That is a shame pole, and you can always tell a shame pole because the ears and the nose will be painted red. So after he bought Alaska, he came up here, met some of the natives, and they were actually really nice to him. They threw him parties, they gave him gifts. These parties that they throw him, though, are called potlatch parties. And a potlatch party is one clan would normally invite another clan to come over and have this party. And they would make sure that all the food was there, and they'd give nice gifts to everybody. And they couldn't get these gifts at like Walmart or Dollar Tree, you know. They had to be pretty legit. And so they, after they kind of figured out some of the things about these parties, they found out that the native clans that they were throwing these parties for had gotten pretty big. And so they decided that each one was going to cost just under $500,000. Oh. So they decided to scratch that idea and let them have their totem pole. Name U.S. Coast Guard yet. Same idea though. And these ships came up here, the vet stands up here.
I did already. Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Sorry, no. And then I download them to my computer.
You can come down very slow.
The other.
All right.
From Idaho to drive buses to save money for college.
Oh, that's nice. And how is the life in Ketchikan?
It's great. I get to live in Alaska all summer.
All summer?
And go on hikes, drive bus, meet wonderful people.
Wow. Everybody
And then you
likes
go back
it.
to Idaho?
I do. Well,
Are you a student?
I grew up with 7 other siblings,
Oh
so
my.
Uh-huh.
So this
we
is
had to
like-
have a sense of humor or we'd be going crazy.
Are you a student or something?
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
a student.
I go to Brigham Young University. They have an Idaho campus.
Uh-huh.
That's the one I attend.
Right. Do you know? Oh, that's funny. Okay, so the other day going to the Mendenhall Glacier, had a Brigham Young guy also who was our driver, and you know what he told a lot of us getting out of the bus. He said, "Now, so you'll know which bus I am." He says, "Take a photo of the front of the bus. That way you'll have the number of the bus."
Yep.
It was hysterical, and a lot of us did. And like, you know, X number of minutes later, you know, we were kissing the bus.
Location. There's another pole in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So now,
I am.
yeah. So the pole itself is that outside. They just hollowed it out.
You're welcome. So I figured he must have really been in love still, and then after she found out how much it cost, he was probably in trouble.
Probably.
I asked my wife, our second anniversary is coming up at the end of this month, and I asked her if she wants me to get a totem pole. And she said, yeah, if you look out,
No, stop. Put your hands on.
His here is that museum.
Collies.
That other straight up that hill where they planted really.
Mine from yesterday. Like a little coat, little jacket. Little jacket. Oh, no. This guy squint. His eyes was doing that. Who? Brandon. Oh. I ain't talked to him too much. This guy's doing the whole story.
Oh, give it, kid, give it, thank you.
Doesn't matter the price. If she likes that, I have to pay. It's a beautiful story.
Голос юный звенел, этот звон о любви сладко пел. Вспомнился за
Where comes this music? It's a beautiful music.
This is Russian folk music.
I know. You have a DVD or a CD? When I give you the whole set for that price, that means you get no video.
No?
This pendant.
We have some stones there. You can take a photo.
Now this is the top quality. You can say it's by the color. Sapphire. You don't need a like in the store.
Is it your first time here?
If people don't know about
You know it's Romania.
Yes. I haven't been there, but I know where that is.
that,
Okay.
It's a mix of.
It's a beautiful store.
Thank you, sir. These ones are fossil from
Uh-huh.
Alberta, Canada.